Hi everyone, Crafty Lori here, and today is the 5th day of my Growing in Unity projects. It's my last day, it's Friday, and I'm going to show you how to make these cute charms. And I have two different sizes. I have one that I colored and one that I didn't. This is a smaller one and this is a bigger one. And I can think of 100 different ways to use charms and projects. But these are super easy and super fun to make. For my week of the Growing in Unity projects, I think some of you found what my hidden theme was. So my hidden theme for my Growing in Unity week was stamps don't have to be just for cards. So I hope I inspired some of you to think outside of that rectangle and take your stamps and make something great. I have some shrink film here and it's by Graphic. And it is a matte shrink film. I like the matte when I'm using colored pencils to color on it. And it shrinks up to 50% of its size. So that's the shrink film that I like. And I have two dies, two circle dies. And on my die machine, I cut out 2 circles of the shrink film. I have my stamping tool. And with this shrink film, I'm just going to tape it with double stick tape onto the stamping tool because I don't want it to shift. And the stamp I'm using for this charm is Just For You. It's an itty bitty stamp. It's a bunny holding a flower. And there it is. And I'm going to place it down where I want it. And I'm using a permanent ink, stays on ink. Water-based ink will smear, so no water-based ink. I'm going to be careful not to touch it because the ink is not dry yet, so I don't want it to smear. So I'm just going to let that sit to the side to dry, and I'll stamp the other one. This one I got to put up a little bit higher because I only want to use part of the stamp. I will tape it down. The stamp I am using is called Loved All Over, and it's a giraffe. This is the first time I've used it, so I will peel the paper off. And I'm just going to use his head. I'm not going to use his neck. So I will place them where I want them. And for this one, I'm using Stays On ink again. And I'm using the brown, the ganache color. And while this one is drying, I am going to color the other one. This one I'm not going to color, so that one's finished. But there's the bunny, and I'm going to take off the double stick tape. And to color this one, I am going to use Prismacolor pencils. You can use any colored pencils, even Crayola. You don't have to have the fancy colored pencils. And I'm only using 5 colors. So I'm just going to start coloring. And because this shrinks, the pigment color will shrink. So you don't even have to color that dark. You can color pretty light if you want. And the color pencil sometimes leaves little bits and pieces, so I'm just going to blow those off. And that one's finished coloring. And now I want to punch a hole. So I have just a hole punch. And you don't want to go too close to the edge because when this shrinks, the bridge part of the hole will also shrink, and so you don't want it to be too skinny. And the same for the giraffe. Let me peel off the double stick tape. I'm going to punch a hole. Now to shrink these, you can do it in an oven, but I don't like to use my cooking oven for that, so I am just going to use a heat gun. I'm going to shrink this one first. And I have a silicone spatula because sometimes you have to flatten it a little bit after it's done heating up. And I have an awl, and I'm just going to put it where the hole is. And when this starts to shrink up, it's going to curl up. But don't worry, that's just the process. And once it's done curling and it starts laying flat, that's when it's finished. So I'm going to put my heat gun on high and shrink this. And that one is finished. And now for the giraffe one. There it is. Same process. And that one is finished. And you can see the size difference. Just from, this was the bigger die and this was the smaller one. I've had a great week with my Growing in Unity projects, and I'm sad to see my week coming to an end. But Unity Stamps is giving away some great prizes, so in order to be entered to win, you need to comment on this video, or you can comment in the Facebook group Growing in Unity or Unity Show and Tell, and I will link those Facebook groups down below. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching. Bye.